Hey, how much is enough money?
Come on.
Okay? Aren't we sick of it?
Yeah,
I
no.
appreciate him asking that question. And then I appreciate Roger at the end of that not saying any more brain busters as I do this entire thing. Anytime he speaks, we learn stuff. Him saying 23 million people watch on Peacock is also him publicly negotiating with Apple in the future and Google in the future. He talked about Amazon being up 24%. That was a direct message to Bezos saying, see, we are the ones that will drive these platforms that you're trying to build. The big stat, though, and he hit on it again at the end. 10 years younger was the average demo for the people that were watching on Peacock, which is more than a year before the entire audience. Huge. So it seems like all the people that are bitching about it don't actually follow through with what they're bitching about. But also, it doesn't seem to be a problem for the next generation of fans, which is all any business is seemingly trying to attract. Now, you can't run away your core, though, and it feels like he thinks, with the numbers he's seeing, he's not doing that while attracting a younger brand. It's like everything they're doing, the NFL, it seems to be hitting home run, home run, home run, when everybody else is plateauing or going down. That's what I heard there.
Yeah, and like the younger generation growing completely outweighs the older generation maybe falling off. Like, sure, it's a bummer if there are, the 70-plus senior citizens, if you will, that can't get onto Peacock.
But they can get on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is what everybody's saying.
It's a challenge.
But
it's a challenge. But it's kind of a win-win though, because like at my house, my kids, like I'm the only person in the house that watches cable television. Like everything else is a streaming service that I've had to download already. So if I'm going to watch football on it, the kids are going to use Peacock or use Disney Plus, whatever it's going to be on anyway. So and that's like our generation, 30s, 40s. So that demo's not going anywhere. But it is important to get that younger demo because it's hard to keep intention for 2 minutes, let alone 3 hours for these kids to watch these live games in. And we've seen the ratings. Football, like live sports in general, is what's keeping linear cable alive right now. So I see what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, in football, NFL is king. Pro Bowl, the Pro Bowl games that everybody hates, not everybody. We didn't mind it.
Yeah.
That was pretty entertaining. Actually watched it. There was some stuff that was certainly corny.
Sure.
It outdrew pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
And the NFL knows that that's what they're doing. And you can't run away the people that can't afford, right, these new streaming platforms. But I think what Roger Goodell was saying is we're being told that these people are already, when $5.99 back in the day for something that was added to a family that was living paycheck to paycheck, there's people that would say no. Nowadays, somehow, I don't know how it works, but seemingly everything's more expensive, seemingly impossible to have, but everybody has it. I don't understand how any of it works. And I think that's what Roger Goodell's saying is like our fears of maybe driving away people that wouldn't be able to afford that were not substantial fears. The number was up from last year, and the people that were in were the same people that were in whenever it was on television, which, by the way, you have to pay for a service to get that type of thing. It's all very interesting happening in real time, this transition to streaming and digital while linear television exists. We're kind of in the middle of it as well. With what we're doing at a much smaller level. In the reporting of what's on this, what's on YouTube, what's on TikTok Live, what's on ESPN Linear, and all that. How do you market that? How do you sell that? How do you balance all that? How do you do that? It's like the NFL is doing that on the biggest of possible stages, bigger than anybody else, and almost kicking the door down to what tomorrow looks like for the rest of seemingly the business.
Well, and I think that's an important and interesting distinction that like a lot of people forget about is like all these other sports leagues who most of their games are on ESPN or TBS or TNT or whatever. Like you do have to, every NFL game is either on Fox, NBC, or CBS, which is like you can get that with an antenna. You don't have to have cable. Like I mean, you obviously know that, but you don't think about that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to pay for a paid cable package to watch 95% of NFL games. It's just these, Thursday nights and then the one playoff game on Peacock or whatever, and a couple of the games that are overseas on ESPN. But like the majority of their games are free for the public.
200 million.
It's a wild number in America. It's a wild number.
Let alone the global
That's
audience.
a shocking number, and I'd be shocked if it got there. But Roger didn't say that for shits and gigs. Like he's like you said earlier.
Shits and gigs.
Like you said earlier, like he's not throwing out that 200 number, and it comes in at 170, and then like what happened?